So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the series. How did you get involved in it?
Yeah, well, I got involved because, for one, me and my wife, when we out or when I'm out with anybody, any of my friends, people always come to me and be like, you changed the game, man. And I mean, and rightfully so. For the, I understand, where they're getting at, and a part of me believe that, you're like, you changed the game. But I always be like, man, you ever seen Charlie Ward, or you ever seen Warren Moon, or you ever seen this? And the answer was always no. Nah, well, go Google him and get some intel. And after a while, it was like my wife, who she produced and she's involved in production and got her own share of production going on. She was like, you should produce a doc where you just sit down with all these quarterbacks that you admire so much, since you telling all these people that you didn't revolutionize the game, or you had some part in revolutionizing the game. And just being honest, you want to pay homage. And so this was all about paying homage and really, just resurfacing the history of the quarterback position, black quarterbacks in general. How hard we had to work a little harder over the years to try to put ourselves in a position to, be a leader for a franchise. And I just always felt like it was something that needed to be done, celebrating the league, celebrating how far we've come and the opportunities that's been given to us, because, we all took full advantage of it when we got the opportunity.
As you're creating the documentary and doing it, I wonder, at a certain point, when you obviously know the history, and I've taken a lot of flack. I'm a Washington fan because of '87 and Doug Williams, but
Commanders.
The Commanders now.
Yeah.
As you're watching it, you're starting to hear people say that you're the reason that they play football. So now when you're talking to Cam, you're talking to Jalen, you're talking to Pat Mahomes, right? How does that make you feel, right? Because you're saying, like, these guys are the guys you should watch, and they're saying, like, no, you're the guy that we watch.
It's certainly a great level of gratitude and appreciation, because I know you got to have a role model. Like, my role model was Steve Young. I was always looking at the NFL and, trying to figure out who I could pattern my game after, who looked like me. That guy just happened to be a white quarterback who was left-handed.
They're going to be like, nah, he ain't.
So, Cam and Jalen and Dak, they was all fortunate to have guys like myself and, Donovan McNabb and, Jeff Blake and, Steve McNair. These guys were, very influential in our lives, and watched everything they do step for step, or they did step for step, and just wanted to emulate what they brung to the field. So to hear them say that is really an honor, because I didn't play the game in the beginning to be a role model. And I'll be honest about that. Like, I didn't understand that concept. I was just trying to be the best quarterback that I could be. But, as you grow older and you start to meet people and you start to have football camps and, guys like Malik Willis, who came through my camps, and you watch them ball yesterday for Green Bay.
Got the dub.
It's like, damn, we really influenced the generation that come behind us. So, I'm glad I was able to embrace it as I got older, and, it goes to show that these guys watched us and they followed us and they're doing it the right way.
Let's talk about the evolution. Previously, a black quarterback was an anomaly. Right. Most of the quarterbacks were white, and there was racial undertones for that, as far as quarterback is the leader of the team, seen as the most intelligent person, a coach on the field. So that was a stereotype for a long time. And then it was when black quarterbacks actually did become more popular, it was only seen as like, well, they'd have to be a super athletic.
Yeah.
Right? But now we're seeing a wide variety. Some quarterbacks are super athletic, some are not as athletic, some can throw, some run. So talk about, like, from you growing up as a kid to you being an NFL analyst now, the evolution of how the game has looked at the black quarterback.
No doubt. As a kid, I always heard stories about the NFL being so complex. Like, the offenses are hard to learn, and it was always this stereotype that, maybe we couldn't pick the system up fast enough. I know, it was something that scared me and made me kind of deterred me from wanting to pursue playing quarterback. And that's why I started out at running back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really trying to get into that. I'm a young man and I'm hearing all these things and I'm like, that's going to derail my chances of making it. And I had a coach that, believed in me, kept pushing me, and I'm like, spent a lot of years feeling like I was playing the quarterback position for no reason. That at some point my position would change, and I wasted all this time trying to become a quarterback and the best quarterback that I could be. And it was just it was really tough on my mental health, as far as like, when you're a kid and you aspiring to be some, you only get to do that once, and it's not like that. Like that don't fluctuate. That don't change. Like one day I want to be a professional football player, and the next day I want to be a professional basketball player, and the next week, I'm gonna change it. I want to be a doctor. It don't work like that. We be like focused on like what it's gonna take to achieve that. And so I'm hearing all these stereotypes as I get older, and I'm really like shook up about it. And like, damn, man, I don't know which way to go in my life. And drafts, I'm starting to see more black quarterbacks enter the league here and there, and I'm like, okay, it's only about 3 or 4 of them, might even if that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder how complex these offenses are. So part of, stopping right there, I was like, in making this doc, a part of me wanted to find out, like, back in, the 70s, was the offenses really that complex where a black quarterback couldn't really understand it? A Marlon Briscoe or Jefferson Street Joe. Was it really so sophisticated that they couldn't lead and they couldn't compartmentalize all these things and run a team? And so those questions I wanted to get answered. In this doc, I feel like there's still a lot left to talk about. From a standpoint of just gaining an understanding of, how we got to this point. Because now,
They're going to build the offense for you.
I'm a reference Malik Willis, but Malik Willis was with Tennessee in obviously a different offense than Green Bay. He goes to Green Bay 3 weeks ago. He picks this system up in 3 weeks. He goes out and wins 2 games in 2 weeks.